back for another week in review where I share with you guys the graphic novels slash trades I've read for the week. The first book I've read for the week is Superior by Mark Millar. This one it's his own publishing company, Millar World or whatever. But this one has a Superman type hero. And the premise of this book, it's kind of almost like DC Comics' Shazam, because a frail little boy named Simon who has multiple sclerosis, I know I probably just butchered that word, but he has MS, and this little monkey approaches him and says, "Hey, I'll grant you a wish," and of course, you never take a wish from some random creature that approaches you. Makes him into his beloved superhero, Superior. And of course, just multiple things happen. And there's a cool little backstory that goes along, like a side story that goes along with this. So I did enjoy this. I didn't think it was that great though. So I think I only rated this 3 out of 5 stars. It's worth checking out. I mean, it was a decent story, even though it seemed so much like Superman and a couple of other stories. But after that, I picked up Deadpool Kills the Marvel Universe. And this one I've been wanting to read for a very long time because, let's face it, it's Deadpool, and the whole idea of him taking on the Marvel Universe seems really epic. So I was like, yeah, I definitely want to read this. But it started out so slow. Professor X commits Deadpool to this insane asylum, and things spin out of control from there, and they just don't make any sense. It's just really written really poorly. This is totally just an action comic. So, with that all being said, and I won't say anything more about the plot or what goes on in the story, I just thought it was just okay. It's pure entertainment value, and I only rated this 3 out of 5 stars. Not really much going on with the story, so it was kind of a big letdown in that way. Up next we have Sumo, and I'm not even going to try to pronounce this guy's name, because I know I would totally butcher it. But anyways, this is another, I think the publishing company is, First Second. I have to say, I've read, probably at least 5 books from this publisher, and honest to God, guys, I'm not impressed with this publisher. They're really putting out some very mediocre, and if not mediocre, pretty bad books. This one is about this guy who, breaks up with his girlfriend. He fails at becoming a football player, so he decides to become a sumo wrestler. And then he's struggling with that, and he meets another girl in Japan. So it's really kind of confusing, because I wasn't sure what was going on at the end. And I just really wasn't feeling this book. I might have rated this book only 2 out of 5 stars. Or I might have rated it at 3. I don't remember, but it wasn't really worth my time picking up. It was such a short read, and there wasn't really much substance to it. So, if you really want to check it out, I mean, it's not like it's about, sumo wrestlers or about Japanese culture or anything. It's just a really short story. It didn't have any real substance to it. So, that's another reason why I rated it so low. So, okay, it is what it is. Up next we have Maxwell Strange, and this is a Dark Horse comic. Of course, when I got this, it sounded interesting because it's a sci-fi story, but you guys know I'm really not into black and white, and this story was so strange, I just couldn't get into it. I just know that the main title character, Maxwell Strange, has some kind of ability that these other alien races are coming to Earth for, and they want to harness it because they think they can conquer the Earth with it. So with all that being said, and it's just a rather lengthy book, this did take me a few days to read because the pages are kind of thick and there was a lot of dialogue. And I have to say, the story just, I couldn't get into it. At one point, I felt like giving up on it. I really didn't want to finish it, but I was like, yeah, I'm just going to push on through. And it still did not get any better. So I only rated this one 2 out of 5 stars. It was just okay. It wasn't that great. After that, I read the Arrival by Sean Tan. This is a book that's told just through pictures. They're beautifully illustrated drawings, of course. They look like they're pencil sketches or whatnot, or charcoal or something. Everybody on Goodreads has rated this like really high, like 4 or 5 stars. To be quite honest with you guys, yes, while it does have impressive artwork, I really thought the story was kind of lacking. Like, I really did not get that this was about like immigrants arriving to new countries. It was just so random and all over the place that I really didn't think it was that great, and I only rated this 3 out of 5 stars. Okay, up next we have Deadpool and Cable Volume 1. This is not the classic Deadpool and Cable. This is another reboot. This one is from 2014. There's the back of that one. Now, I was thinking, because I think I've read some Deadpool and Cable before, this one was just kind of all over the place. Like, this is a massive volume, and it just was all over the place. Like, there was no really continuous story going on, so it's kind of hard to summarize it all. But this is at the point where, you know, Cable has like his full-on TK abilities, and for some reason Deadpool can time slide or body slide just like Cable. So it was kind of a little hard getting used to. I will admit I only rated this one 3 out of 5 stars. I do know that a lot of my friends on Goodreads really enjoyed this, and they did rate it 4 or 5 stars. But I just wasn't feeling it. Like, I didn't think it was that good of a story, you know? I thought it was just okay. Up next we have Rat Queens Volume 2, subtitled The Far-Reaching Tentacles of Nerigoth. Now, this one kind of picks up slightly, there's a time jump. It picks up a little bit after the events of the first volume. Of course, if you don't remember, the town of Palisades was attacked, and the Rat Queens kind of redeemed themselves and helped repel the attack. So this kind of reveals a little more background information about each individual Rat Queen, some slight history, and I have a feeling, like every other series, they're going to slowly introduce a little more and a little more about each Rat Queen to kind of try to make it interesting. So far this was still pretty good. I did rate this 4 out of 5 stars, but I'm so afraid that this series is going to eventually tank and become mediocre. It's so hard to say at this point. They are still trying to keep it, you know, up there with the language, the vulgarity, and the, like, you know, the little tipping of the hat, the nod to H.P. Lovecraft's Cthulhu type stuff. So it is still pretty good. If you have not checked out this series, this is one you should definitely be reading if you're a fan of fantasy, Clerks type dialogue, that kind of stuff. Okay, up next we have Warzone Secret Wars 2099. I did read like 3 of the issues of this volume during the summer while the event was going on, and I have to say I really was not impressed with the series. I always thought that the Marvel 2099 was really interesting, but I don't know where they came up with these characters, because these characters, I don't recall them even being from the 2099 universe. So, you know, there are these incarnations of the Avengers and Defenders, and I really thought this was really lacking, and it really didn't have anything to do with the Secret Wars or the whole Battle World concept. So I really, I was kind of generous in giving this a 3 out of 5 stars, but I felt it could have been so much better. I don't know if there are any other volumes to this. I may or may not read them, but it is what it is. After that, I picked up Colder, Volume 1, and this is one of the books that was a horror recommendation from a list of horror graphic novels. And I do have to say, this is a really, really interesting concept. There's this guy named Declan Thomas who, in the 40s, he was in an insane asylum for some reason. And I'm not going to say anything more about his origin because I don't want to spoil it because there's a twist on his origin. You think you know one thing, but it turns out to be something else. Well, anyways, he has this ability where he can suck the crazy out of other people who are insane. And there's this villain, kind of demonic type character named Nimble Jack, who goes around and he basically eats the insanity. And when he eats the insanity out of people that are insane, they commit suicide. So it's really kind of interesting, kind of strange. I really don't know where... This is a Dark Horse, by the way. I don't know where this story is going, but it was definitely better than I thought it was going to be. So I did rate this one 4 out of 5 stars. And one strange thing I have to say about this, my interlibrary loaned this, and it came all the way from Kansas City. So that was pretty darn cool. This is like the farthest I've ever gotten a book from, the interlibrary loan system. But it was definitely worth checking out. If you guys are into horror, like strange, bizarre type stuff, definitely check this one out. Okay, so this is going to be my last book for this week in review, and that is Satan's Prep. This is by a small publisher that I've never really heard of. I kind of saw this at my local library, and I was like, yeah, sure, it might be really dumb, but I'm willing to give it a try. So there's this kid named Trevor, and he ends up dying, and he gets sent to hell. And it's kind of like a play on, it's kind of a joke, like it's a parody thing where, if you think your high school is hell, you should try being at this kid's school because it's literally hell. So it was just okay. It's really goofy and not taken to be totally serious. And, of course, there's a little love story in it. So I didn't think this was too bad. It wasn't that great. So I only rated this one 3 out of 5 stars. I wouldn't jump out of the way to go check it out, but it's worth picking up if you're into, like, some comical type stuff. So that is my latest week in review. Thank you for watching. Until next time, later, guys.